Hello, welcome to The Professional. My name is Dennis O'Shea. Presently, I'm at the R Tambo International Airport in Johannesburg, South Africa, and I'm going to be interviewing a captain of the air. I mean, a professional pilot. And you know what? He has flown thousands of miles, and he's going to be telling us what it takes to fly that big bird, I mean the aeroplane, into the air. And a whole lot of lives are dependent on him. So he's going to be telling us the pressures he feels in the cockpit and what it takes to fly that big nation into the air. So I will see you right after this break. Don't go anywhere.
Many cultures have built devices that travel through the air, from the earliest projectiles such as stones and spears and boomerang in Australia, the hot air Kongming lantern and kites. The Wright brothers were the first to fly in a powered and controlled aircraft. Previous flights were gliders, control but no power, or free flight, power but no control. But the Wright brothers combined both, setting the new standard in aviation records. An aircraft pilot is an aviator who actively and directly operates the directional flight controls of an aircraft while in flight, while other members of a flight crew, such as flight engineer, navigator, or any other person involved in the direct flight operations of an aircraft, whether it be a fixed-wing airplane, rotary wing, powered or unpowered, are also considered aviators. To ensure the safety of people in the air and on the ground, early aviation soon required the aircraft be under the operational control of a properly trained, certified pilot at all times, who is responsible for the safe and legal completion of the flight. The absolute authority given to the pilot in command derives from that of a ship's captain. In recognition of the pilot's qualifications and responsibilities, most militaries and many airlines worldwide award aviator badges to their pilots as well as other air crews. This includes naval aviators.
Captain Eric McTaggart, welcome to The Professional.
Thank you.
Okay, how important is the pilot in the society?
Pilot is very important to society. Rather, you remember, to grow our GDP or our economy, we need an efficient transportation system.
Yes.
And the most efficient and safe transportation system is aeroplanes. So aviation is an important catalyst in the growth of our economies.
Okay. Yeah. And in the cockpit, you've been in the cockpit for like how many years now?
34 years.
Okay.
14,000 flying hours, flying big jets several times for many airlines.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Is it business as usual for you as a professional now? And how does it feel for you anytime you want to take off and anytime you want to land?
Yeah, it depends what you mean by business as usual, because you must be well prepared.
Okay.
You must condition yourself.
Okay.
Remember, practice makes perfect. You do a brief, you practice what you're going to do, you do a dry run in your mind, and before you come to work and when you sign on in your operations room.
Yes.
So really, there's no room for error. There's no mistakes up there.
So you have to always be on your toes.
You must be on your guard.
Oh,
yes.
So now let's talk about how retrained are these guys, because technology is increasing. It's not the way they fly planes 20 years ago that they do now, because technology is changing a lot of things. How retrained are these pilots?
They're very well trained. Remember,
Yes.
you start off as a private pilot license, meaning you don't fly for remuneration or salary. Then you become a commercial pilot, that's your first degree. And then you become what we call an airline transport pilot license, which the University of Texas says is an equivalent of a PhD, because you do a thesis and all that. But these guys are trained every 3 months, but checked every 3 months by their instructors or their peers or senior pilots on the airline. For instance, flying a route to London or to Cape Town or to Durban, they will check you every 3 months. Then every 6 months, you practice your emergencies in the simulator and in the aeroplane. All the fire drills, all the emergencies, technical faults like gear failing to come down, etc. You do that every 6 months. And every Other 6 months, which is your 12-monthly basis,
Yes.
you do a revalidation where you renew your instrument rating, where you learn you must be efficient in flying using the instruments alone. For instance, in darkness or when it's cloudy,
Yes.
you do that every 12 months, every year. Then you get also what we call a competency check to make sure that you are perfect. You know your standard operating procedures.
You know your
stuff.
because we're dealing with lives here and properties and a lot of investments.
I can't put a monetary value to it. You remember, people are insured.
Yes,
an aeroplane is insured for hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yes.
Yeah. So
the people that move this equipment, they just have to be on their toes.
Yes. The training is very intensive.
Okay.
And you got to remember, your theories, you got to pass by 75% pass mark.
And if you don't go beyond that 75%, you're not going to
You can't
fly.
go forward. You can't fly. Even after flying for 30 years, we'll stop you. You got to pass. Then, of course, then we take you in to practice.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's quite very,
Yes.
very.
It's a challenge. You're always studying. You're
Yes.
always reviewing your stuff. You're always practicing things.
Because and it's a dynamic industry
Actually,
too.
you can't make a mistake.
You can't make a mistake.
If you make a mistake, you're 6 feet under.
That's quite hilarious. But okay, do you think in the nearest future, with the fast growing technological advancements going on in the world right now, do you think the autopilot is going to take over the pilots, the real pilots that are flying?
Not
the
really. You have drones which are used in the military, the pilotless jets, but remember they're controlled by people who are on the ground.
Okay.
who
People
are
still
somewhere.
control them.
People still control. But when we fly passengers and cargo, we got people who are. Remember, a pilot is a systems manager. The autopilot is an efficient systems manager. It augments the human element of it because of the issues of fatigue,
Yes.
efficient systems management. The autopilot will take care of the stuff continually.
So both are needed, even now and in the future.
You need the human being to intervene when the things go wrong and the autopilot disconnects or disengages. You need somebody to intervene and to take corrective action. That's why you need the human being.
Awesome. How important is a control tower to the flying of an airplane?
Air traffic controllers, they're very important. Remember, they manage our airspace, they separate you. The aeroplanes, there's thousands of aeroplanes up in the sky. Every 2 seconds there's an airplane taking off and landing.
Every 2 seconds.
Yeah. By now I think the stats show that the traffic is more than that. But if you are at an airport like OR here, your eyes will get tired to see airplanes taking off and landing. Airports, busy airports like JFK, Chicago,
And
London
Heathrow,
Heathrow.
yes.
Your eyes get tired. They take off and land every other minute. So really, the air traffic controllers manage that airspace, the separation, the avoidance of collision. They are very well trained. In fact, they are just like pilots. They do the same subjects we do: navigation, aerodynamics, weather, meteorology. The theory we do is pretty much the same.
So, how important is the control tower to the safety of lives, property, the aeroplane itself, the people on board, the pilot?
Major player. Remember, the air traffic controller manages you up there, separates the aeroplanes, collision avoidance. If you're given wrong instructions by air traffic controller or wrong speeds to maintain, you end up hitting each other or colliding. So, major factor. And they are actually efficient pilots on the ground. Yeah.
Okay, so they are the pilots on the ground.
Yes, because we do basically the same subjects, like aerodynamics, meteorology, which is weather, navigation,
Yes.
and all those things.
So they are your eyes.
Definitely.
Even despite the fact that you guys are up there in the skies and you're beyond the clouds, and these guys are here trying to watch your back.
They're managing things.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, does the pilot require those professionals? Because from research, they said there are people they call aviators other than the pilot. Yes. So, do you require those aviators before you take off and before you land? Do you require information, and what kind of information do you have to get, and you get to go ahead before you take it?
Of course, yeah. You file in what we call a flight plan. You get information on what aeroplanes are up there in the skies, what speed they're flying at, which ones are going the same route as you, which ones are going opposite route as you. You get a clearance per se, and then you get the weather in that area or environment or the route you are flying.
Yes.
And there's a lot of information, whether the navigation aids, the satellite aids are working, etc. So you got the engineers, you got the weather service people, you get the air traffic controllers, you got the people who man the beacons, which is your rotating beacons,
yes,
or your navigational aids.
Yes.
All those things must be in place. And remember, your airport where you are going to must also be suitable. Things must be working there. Your instrument landing systems, the airport runway must be able to take the aeroplane you are flying, etc.
So it requires a whole lot of logistics and a whole lot of work for.
It's a machine.
Yeah.
Everything has to be in place
before an aeroplane can take off and land.
It should just work like clockwork.
Awesome. It has been awesome so far.
Yes.
I've been more knowledgeable about the aviation
I wish we had more
industry.
time. It's a vast subject.
Beautiful. But how long have you been flying? You were a fountain of knowledge when it comes to the aviation industry.
Well, I've been flying for 34 years now. I've got about 14,000 flying hours, flying big jets. Current on the Airbus 340,
Wonderful.
the Boeing 747, the Boeing 767, the Embraer jets, the 737s. I basically fly many
I should
times.
come fly with you
Yeah.
one of these days in the cockpit. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
Okay. What has been your longest single flight so far?
Well, I've done one. I remember I ferried an aeroplane from Boeing to Gatwick, that's Seattle, in Washington.
In Washington, yes.
To Gatwick, then Gatwick to Harare. And I did another long flight from Lubumbashi to Mumbai, Pyongyang in North Korea.
North Korea.
Those were long flights.
Whoa.
I would say
Like how many hours each?
we're talking about 22 hours. But
At a stretch?
With a stop. No,
With a stop. But
yeah.
in the single
Continually,
flight,
I would say about 11 hours.
11 hours per stop.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Sure.
That's,
But of course, you take turns and you get time to rest and all that. Yeah.
Okay. What are the details you take in cognizance? The details you take cognizance of. What are they when you are flying?
Yes.
Let's say you're on air and you observe there's a change of weather from one region to another. What are those details you take cognizance of?
We're continually checking the weather. Remember now we got weather radars, the continual TV screens, they're continually updating the weather, and we get weather bulletins as well. And then we have to change course. We have to circumvent an area of high activity,
yes.
or whether a storm. We circumvent it because you can't fly through a storm. People need to understand that air transportation, which is flying an airline or any means of air transport, is the
Be it
safest.
an helicopter,
Yes,
be it a private
it's a safe
jet.
mode of transport, safer than the road.
Okay.
The carnage on the roads, daily 3,500 people die on the roads as of May 2012. And yearly it's 1.2 million. And 50 million people get injured on the road. The stats in the air, in 2009, 749 people died due to air accidents. In 2008, it was 583. And one would like to point out that in February 2013, it said in the US in the last 5 years, death risk to passenger in the aeroplanes in the US has been 1 in 45 million flights. Yes.
Okay, you're talking about the rate of accidents
Yes.
compared to roads.
Yes.
As to that,
So
in
people
the
need
air.
to understand that it's the safest mode of transport. When I'm a passenger in an airline, I fall asleep the moment we take off. That's how safe it is. There's a sense of well-being I have.
Yeah, there's a sense of comfort also.
But
when
a
you
lot
fly.
of people, because of the fear factor and the fear of flying or heights, they tend to drink alcohol a lot when they are on board and all that. It's not good. It's not recommended.
It's not recommended.
Medium
Okay.
consumption is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think airline accidents, when I mean airline, I mean airplane, helicopter, or any form of air transportation, do you think the accidents could be cut? Because most of the accidents are very disastrous.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think can be done better to curb these accidents? Okay. And how can the government get more young people to learn how to fly aeroplanes? Okay. This is like two questions in one.
Sure.
But they're all
The accidents, of course, we got a high rate of accidents now because there's more aeroplanes in the skies than before.
Compared to-
with the technology evolution and the population growth.
Yes.
You know, we now have the Airbus 380s which can carry 800 people.
yes, at once.
But most accidents, the stats show that 99.9% are caused by human errors. Human beings panicking under fire, not doing the right things which they are trained to do in an emergency. So training is the answer. Practice makes perfect.
Awesome.
As far as training pilots is concerned, we need to train more pilots worldwide. We are training pilots in the Cape for a Chinese airlines in conjunction with a Chinese university. Hundreds of them every year.
Every year.
Yes. And
And because of the rate-
demand is so high
Yes,
now.
because the population is increasing,
Yeah.
the standard of living is also increasing because people can afford to fly.
And remember, I said it's the safest
More-
and the
yes.
most efficient mode of transport.
Yes.
To grow your economy, you need an efficient air transportation system wherever you
do,
are.
do you think you are more of an insider in the aviation industry than most people that I could have interviewed? Okay, what do you think the government can do better to interview? I said interview to train more pilots.
Take it to the schools from an initial
From let's say the
startup-
primary
yeah,
level.
when-
Yes.
at a young tender age.
Yes.
They must get that. It must be a passion.
Yes.
They must have.
So it starts
they must
from
have-
the geography.
Yeah, the
in
environment.
elementary school.
Yeah, they must have the passion to fly. You must create an environment where they understand
An
these things. They are
atmosphere.
taught an atmosphere for
Yes.
them to see what is it all about. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Though. Okay, it's been beautiful so far.
Sure.
I'm so inspired. I want to go and fly.
Anytime.
Okay.
It's a room with a view. There's no better office than in the sky. You see everything when you're up there.
Whoa, you see like the view. Okay, let me digress a little bit. What's the view like? Just give me 1 minute.
I can't describe it. Remember,
Use
that's
one
why
word
they,
to describe
They say a room with a view because you can see everything. You don't have to choose which side to be because you can see 360.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
What's the future of aviation in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years?
You remember
in the
now
next
we have
20
the
years?
Airbus 380s.
Yes.
We got space tourism. People are going to space now.
Yeah, this
We had
okay.
a South African in 2009, the millionaire computer guy, Mark Shuttleworth.
Yes.
In 2009, and we got people now buying tickets to go into space.
Awesome.
So the future of aviation is great, and that's the way to go in terms of movement.
Okay, do you see yourself flying a spacecraft in the nearest future?
It's my ambition to be an astronaut one day, or to go
Awesome.
into space anytime.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Just give us a quick certification process for a young pilot
Yes.
to become a professional.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the certification processes
Yeah.
required? Just
Okay.
give us the ABCs
You
and
start with a student pilot license,
Okay.
where you learn the air laws, the laws of the air. Then you get your PPL, private pilot license. You need about 40 hours to 60.
40 flying hours.
Yes. Then your CPL, you need about 200 to 250 hours.
Okay.
That's your commercial pilot, your first degree. Then as you enter the airline, you get your air transport pilot license, which I told you, the University of Texas and many others consider it an equivalent of a PhD doctorate.
Yeah,
now,
I agree.
What you study is your aerodynamics, your meteorology, the weather, your geography comes into play, your maths. You study.
You have to be able to
the
calculate
environment,
your locations other than the computers being in front of you.
You do the flight planning.
Yes.
What you do in the air, how fast you are going, what speeds, at different level, the atmosphere, you got to know that. And then the technical, obviously, you got to know your aeroplane, the performance of your aeroplane in terms of what each system does.
Okay.
So there's a lot. It's a vast subject.
Beautiful. What is the minimum requirement for you to be a pilot? The minimum.
Well, you find most
educational requirement.
Metric will take you into a flying school, the metric, but of course we get university graduates as well. And really, it's a person with a science, geography, mathematics background will find it easy.
Awesome. It's been a great time with you, Captain Eric, and we'd love to have you again.
Sure.
We'd love to fly with you anytime soon.
Thank you.
I hope you'll be able to grasp
It's the safest
that
mode of transport, I keep on saying. Yeah.
Guys, it's been an awesome time on The Professional. We've been speaking with a captain of the airs, and it's been awesome. He's so experienced. He's been flying for 38 years, right?
34.
34 years, and it's been awesome on this episode.
I'm the head of testing standards in South Africa, so we make sure that everybody up there's no lunatics in the air.
That's Roof Cracking. Sure. That's what he does. He's the boss up there. Okay, so, but I'm the boss down here. And I'm going to say thank you for joining us so far. It's been an awesome time on this show. You know how we roll on The Professional. We bring the very best in all fields and in all sectors of life to you. See you next time. Enjoy every beat of your day. I know you've been enjoying it. Bye for now. God bless you.
Thank you.